Hello everyone, my name is Nyoman.
And my name is Steven.
Today we are going to present about PES-AK 212 about income tax. So the first one is objective of the standard on income taxes. This standard sets the accounting treatment for income taxes, focusing on recognizing both current and future tax consequence of the recovery of settlement of asset and liability, carrying amounts in the statement of financial position, transaction and events recognized in financial statements. If recovering or settling an asset or liability affect future tax payments, the entity must recognize deferred tax liabilities or assets with some exceptions. There are some key principles include tax effects follow the treatment of the underlying transaction. Recognized in profit or loss, then tax effects go to profit or loss. Recognized in other comprehensive income or equity, then tax effects go to the same price. In business combination, deferred tax impacts goodwill or bargain purchase gain. There are also some key definition in this PES-AK 212. Accounting profit, profit or loss before deducting tax expense, taxable profit or tax loss, profit or loss based on tax laws used to calculate taxes payable or recoverable, tax expense or income, total tax included in profit or loss, consisting of current tax, tax based on taxable profit or loss for the period, deferred tax, tax related to future periods due to temporary differences. Deferred tax liabilities, future taxes payable due to taxable temporary differences. Deferred tax assets, future taxes recoverable from deductible temporary differences. Carry forward of unused tax losses. Carry forward of unused tax credits. Temporary differences, differences between the carrying amount of our book value and tax base of assets or liabilities. There are two types. Taxable temporary differences lead to future taxable amounts. Deductible temporary differences lead to future deductible amounts. And there are also a tax base which is value assigned for tax purpose. For assets, amount deductible in future periods, and for liabilities, carrying amount minus future deductible amounts. These are the some tax base is example like asset. Machine costs 100, depreciation is 30, so the tax base is 70. And for liabilities, for example, is accrued expense, deductible on cash basis, so the tax base is 0. The next one is special case. Some items, for example, research costs, have a tax base but are not recognized as assets or liabilities in accounting. When the tax base is unclear, consider would recovery or settlement of this item affect future tax payments. In consolidated financial statements, temporary differences are assessed using consolidated carrying amounts. Tax base depends on consolidated tax return or individual entity tax returns in other jurisdictions. Current tax assets and liabilities. Current tax liabilities recognized for unpaid taxes of current and prior periods. Current tax assets recognized if tax paid exceeds the amount due. And also there's tax loss carried back. If a tax loss can be carried back to recover current tax of a prior period, the resulting benefit is recognized as an asset in the prior period the loss occurs. Deferred tax liabilities and deferred tax assets. Recognition of deferred tax liabilities. Recognized for all taxable temporary difference except initial recognition of goodwill, initial recognition of asset or liability in a transaction that is not a business combination, affects neither accounting nor taxable profit at the time of transaction, does not give rise to equal temporary differences. For example, if an asset has a carrying amount of 100 and a tax base of 60, the temporary difference is 40. At 20% tax rate, a DTL of 10 is recognized. The cause of taxable temporary differences are timing differences between accounting and tax treatment, for example, interest and depreciation, development cost capitalized for accounting but expense for tax, business combination when assets are revalued to fair value but tax base remain unchanged, revaluation of assets, for example, under IAS 16, 38, 40, IFRS 9, and IFRS 16 without tax-based adjustment. And the last one is differences in tax base of investment, subsidiaries, and joint arrangement. For business combination, fair value adjustment on acquisition can create temporary differences. These often generate DTLs that affect goodwill. Deferred tax on goodwill is generally not recognized if it arises from initial recognition and has a tax base of 0. But if goodwill is deductible, for example, amortized for tax, a DTL can be recognized on subsequent differences. Assets carried at fair value. If evaluation doesn't affect taxable income, a temporary differences arise, creating a DTA or DTL. DTL arise even if asset is not intended for be sold. Capital gains tax is deferred. Initial recognition exemptions. No DTA or DTL is recognized on temporary differences from initial recognition of an asset or liability that is not part of a business combination, affects neither accounting nor taxable profit, does not give rise to equal temporary differences. Deferred tax asset. A deferred tax asset shall be recognized for all deductible temporary differences if it is probable that taxable profit will be available against which the difference can be utilized. Exceptions to recognitions. A DTA is not recognized if it arises from the initial recognition of an asset or liability in a transaction that is not a business combination, affects neither accounting profit nor taxable profit or tax loss, does not result in equal taxable and deductible temporary differences. Example of deductible temporary differences are accrued warranty costs, deductible when paid, retirement benefits, deductible when paid, not when accrued, research costs recognized early in accounting but deferred for tax, business combination liabilities assumed not deductible immediately, fair value remeasurement of assets, accounting value is lower than tax base. Recognition conditions. A DTA is recognized if there are taxable temporary differences reversing in the same period, or the entity has sufficient future taxable profit, or tax planning opportunities exist to create taxable income. Important consideration. Entity profit history. A history of recent loss make DTA recognition less likely unless strong evidence supports future profits. Comparison basis. DTA is assessed based on taxable profit, excluding the future benefit from temporary differences. No recognition if future originating DTA are only exception profit source. Tax planning opportunities example. Deferring deductions, accelerating income, asset sales to generate taxable income, electing taxable treatment of income. Investment is subsidiaries, branches, associates, and joint arrangement. Temporary difference arise from undistributed profits, foreign exchange change, impairments or recoverable amount adjustment. Different tax liabilities must be recognized except when the parent or investor can control the timing of the reversal. It's probable the temporary difference won't reverse in foreseeable future. For example, parent control dividend policies so they can delay reversal, and apply similarly to branches. Special consideration for associates. Investors usually lack control over dividend policy, so must recognize a deferred tax liability be distributed soon. Joint arrangement. If the joint venturer or operator can control profit distribution and is probable the profits won't be distributed, the deferred tax liability is recognized. Next one is measurement. Current tax liabilities or assets measured at the amount expected to be paid, recovered tax rates, laws enacted or substantively enacted by the end of the reporting period. Deferred tax measured using tax rate accepted to apply when assets are realized or liabilities settled based on enacted or substantively enacted tax. Jurisdictional variations. tax announcement may be treated as substantively enacted even before formal enactment, and measurement must reflect the expected manner of recovery of or settlement of the asset or liability. In some jurisdiction, tax consequence may depend on how the asset is recovered. Example of measurement detail and DTA using tax rate. An item of property, plant and equipment has a carrying amount of 100 and a tax base of 60. A tax rate of 20% would apply if the item was sold, and a tax rate of 30% would apply to other income. The entity recognizes a deferred tax liability of 8 if expects to sell the item without further use, and a deferred tax liability of 12 if it's expect to retain the item and recover its carrying amount through use. Measurement. Non-depreciable assets like a valuation model, deferred tax affects recovery through sale even if asset is not measured. On that basis, use sale-based tax rate if it differs from use-based rate. Investment property or fair value model. Presumption recovery will be through sale. Property is depreciable and business involves consuming economic benefits over time. Business combination or fair value model. The sale presumption also applies to investment properly measured at fair value post business combination. Consistency with other IAS 12 principles do not override rules for deductible temporary differences and unused tax losses or credits. Jurisdictional tax variations and dividends in some jurisdictions. Tax rate change based on whether profits are distributed as dividends, and tax assets or liabilities measured using the rate of for undistributed profits. Non-discounting deferred tax assets and liabilities shall not be discounted. Rationale against discounting. Discounting requires complex timing assumption and prohibited to ensure comparability across entities. Temporary differences. Based on the carrying amount of assets or liability, even if carrying amount is discounted. The assessment of deferred tax reviewed at each reporting date. Reduce asset if insufficient taxable profit is expected. Reverse the reduction if future taxable profit become payable. Recognition of current and deferred tax. Consistency principle. Tax effects of a transaction or event should follow the same accounting treatment as the transaction or event itself. Dividends. Tax effect of dividends are recognized in profit or loss, OCI, equity, depends on the related transaction or event recognized. Items recognized in profits or loss. General rule, tax is recognized in profit or loss unless it arises from items in other comprehensive income or equity, or business combination involving fair value adjustment. Timing differences, deferred tax arise when income in accounting profit in one period, but tax in another. It's recognized in profit or loss when tax effects reverse. Revenue recognition, interest, royalty, or dividend revenue is included in accounting profit under IFRS 13, IAS 39, and or IFRS 9, but taxed on a cash basis. Cost of intangible assets capitalized under IAS 38 and amortized in P&L, but tax deductible when incurred. Change in deferred tax carrying amount. Deferred tax or liabilities may change without temporary differences, change due to tax rate or loan change, reassessment of deferred tax assets recoverability, and change in expected asset recovery manner.
Okay, next is about the tax recognized outside profit or loss. So tax is recognized outside profit and loss if related to items like other comprehensive income or OCI, revaluation of PPE, which is in IAS 16, and about the foreign operation transaction differences, which is in IAS 21. And there's directly in equity, so specific items required permitted by IFRS to be recorded in equity. Next is about the adjustment to return earnings, so opening balance adjustment, retrospective application of accounting policies, and a correction of prior period errors, and equity component of financial instruments, amounts arising from initial recognition. And there's a current and deferred tax outside profit or loss, so it's occurred when graduated income tax rates with specific taxable components, and its changes in tax rates or rules, which is affecting deferred tax previously recognized outside profit or loss, and the recognition of deferred tax assets previously recognized outside profit or loss. And this allocation is principle is current and deferred tax allocated on a reasonable pro rata basis. Revaluation surplus transfer, which is in IAS 16, doesn't mandate transfers. In transfer, if transferred, the amount equals to depreciation or amortization on revalued asset, and the difference between depreciation and on cost versus revalued amount, and the transfers are net of any related deferred tax considered for disposal of an item of property, plant, or equipment. Next is about the deferred tax arising from business combination. So there is a temporary difference, which is business combination. It's like the mergers and acquisition, often create temporary differences between the accounting and tax values of assets and liabilities. In IFRS 3, according to this, if these temporary differences lead to an recognition criteria, entities should recognize the deferred tax assets of liabilities, and there's an impact on goodwill, which this deferred tax effects influence the amount of goodwill or bargain purchase gain recognized in the business combination. Then there's important exception, which is initially entities do not recognize the deferred tax liabilities arising from the initial recognition of goodwill. And next, there is a pre-acquisition deferred tax assets, which is about the reevaluating pre-acquisition assets after a business combination. An acquirer might reevaluate whether its previously unrecognized deferred tax assets can now be recognized. And second is about the increased probability. So the combination might make it more probable that future taxable profit will be available to utilize these deferred tax assets. And last is about the accounting treatment. If recognized, this changes the deferred tax asset in the period of the business combination itself. And there's a recognition potential benefits from pre-acquisition tax losses, which is the criteria for recognition. Sometimes there's the potential tax benefits might not meet the initial recognition criteria in a business combination, and account for realized benefits or new information if deferred tax benefits are recognized due to new information about facts and circumstances existing at the acquisition date. This reduce the carrying amount of goodwill, and if the goodwill is zero, the remaining will be recognized as profit or loss. And next is about the temporary difference. Temporary difference, which is about wait. Okay. Deferred tax for employee services share base, which is the difference between the tax base of employee services received and the carrying amount of near reserves in a deductible temporary difference. This deductible temporary difference leads to a deferred tax asset, and if the future tax deduction amount is unknown at the period end, it's estimated based on unavailable information. And the future tax deduction amount depends on the entity's share price at a future date. Therefore, the measurement of the deductible temporary difference should be based on the entity's share price at the end of the period. And then there's a recognition of current and deferred tax, which is the general rule is about the current and deferred tax related to share-based payments are generally recognized as income or expense in profit or loss to the extent the tax arises from a transaction or event recognized in the same or a different period outside profit or loss or a business combination, unless it's an acquisition of subsidiary measured at fair value through profit or loss. And there's excess tax deduction, which if the tax deduction exceeds the cumulative remuneration expense. This indicates a tax deduction relates not only to remuneration, but also to an equity item. In this specific situation, the excess current or deferred tax should not be recognized directly in equity. And there's an offsetting current tax assets and liabilities. So an entity can offset current tax assets and current tax liabilities only if it has a legally enforceable right to set off the recognized amounts. And it attempts either to settle on a net basis or to realize the asset and settle the liabilities simultaneously. And there's a separate recognition, which is generally current tax asset and liabilities are recognized and measured separately, similar to the financial instruments under the IAS 32. And there's typical scenario for offset, which is an entity typically has a legally enforceable right to set off a current tax asset against a current tax liability when they relate to income taxes levied by the same taxation authority and the authority permits a single net payment. And there's consolidated financial statements in consolidated accounts. A current tax asset of one group entity can be offset against a current tax liability of another group entity. Okay, next is about the rare circumstances. In rare cases, a legally enforceable right of set off and an intention to settle net might exist for some periods, but not others. And if so, detailed scheduling might be required to reliably determine if the deferred tax asset will result in decreased tax payments in the same period of a deferred tax liability will result in increased tax payments by a different entity. And there's a tax expense from ordinary activities must be shown in profit or loss within the statement of profit or loss and the other comprehensive income. And exchange differences on deferred foreign tax, IS 21, allows that exchange differences on deferred foreign tax or liabilities or assets. And it's shown in other comprehensive income may be classified as tax expense income. Disclosure of tax expense. So major components of tax expense income must be disclosed separately. And there's some key components, which is the first one is current tax expense or income. Second one is adjustment for prior periods. Third is deferred tax from temporary differences. Fourth, deferred tax from changes in tax laws or rates. Fifth is about the benefit from unrecognized prior tax loss or credit reducing current tax. Sixth is about benefit from unrecognized prior tax loss or credit reducing deferred tax. 7, deferred tax from asset write-downs, and the last is tax effects from accounting changes and errors and this is non-retrospective. Additional disclosure requirements. So there is separately disclosed, which is the first is current and deferred tax charges and credit to equity. And second is income tax for its component of other comprehensive income. Third is explanation of tax expense versus accounting profit, which is the reconciliation with accounting profit and tax rate, the reconciliation between effective and statutory tax rates. And fourth is changes in applicable tax rates. Fifth is about the info on deductible temporary differences, unused tax losses or credits. And to note is not deferred tax asset is recognized. Six is about the unrecognized temporary differences in group entities or joint arrangements. Seven is about the forward each type of difference or loss or credit, deferred tax assets, liabilities in financial position, deferred tax income or expense in profit or loss. And last is tax expense for discontinued operation or gain or loss from discontinuance on ordinary activities of the discontinued operation. Okay, for the tax disclosure requirements, so additional items to disclose tax consequences of dividends declared but not yet recorded as liabilities and the business combination affecting pre-acquisition deferred tax and deferred tax benefits from acquisitions not recognized at acquisition but recognized later. And the deferred tax asset disclosure is required when recognition depends on future taxable profits. Entity has suffered a loss in the relevant tax jurisdiction, and the potential tax from dividends disclose potential income tax from dividends, and if if included amounts that are practicably determinable. Purpose of disclosures help users to understand the link between tax and profit, identify effects of tax-exempt revenue, non-deductible expenses, tax loss effects, and rate changes. And this is the most meaningful tax rate of reconciliation for multi-jurisdiction entities. Aggregate may be more meaningful. And next is about the disclosure of dividend and tax-related contingencies. So dividend-related tax disclosures. Entities must disclose potential income tax consequences from future dividend payments and disclose key tax system features factors influencing the tax consequences. If not fully practicable to compute, disclose determinant parts. Clearly state if parts are not practicably determinable. And temporary difference on investment, if required under 82A, which is disclose temporary differences in subsidiaries, associates, or joint ventures to report when deferred tax liability is not recognized, state clearly if amounts are not practically determinable. And tax-related contingencies, disclose tax-related contingent liabilities or asset under IAS 37, pending tax disputes, uncertain tax treatments. And there's an effective date, which is the standard is effective for financial statements covered periods starting on or after 1 January 1998. If applied before the date, the entity must disclose that it used the updated IAS 12, which is from the 1996 version, instead of the original IAS 12 approved in 1979. Amendments and transitional provisions effective from January 1, 1998 applies to amended paragraphs earlier adoption encouraged if disclosed. And there's the timeline of amendments, which is the first IAS 1 revised in 2007, terminology updates and paragraph revisions effective from January 1, 2009. Second is IFRS 3, revised in 2008, impacts deferred tax on the business combinations, and changes apply prospectively. Third is deferred tax recovery of underlying asset amended or added 51A till 51E effective from January 1, 2012. Fourth is IFRS 11, which is in 2011, amended various paragraphs related to joint arrangement. Next is presentation of items of other comprehensive income, amended paragraph 77 and deleted paragraph 77A, and it's effective from annual periods beginning on or after July 1st, 2012. And there's investment entities, which is in IFRS 10, 12, and IAS 27, amended paragraph 58 and 68C, and it's effective from annual periods beginning on or after 1st January 2014, and its early application permitted, but must apply or related amendments together. And IFRS 15, revenue from contracts with customers issued May 2014, and it's amended paragraph 59, and it's applied when IFRS 15 is applied. IFRS 9 is about the financial instruments issued on July 2014, amended paragraph 220 and deleted paragraphs 96, 97, 98D apply when IFRS 9 is applied. IFRS 16 is about the leases issued January 2016, amended paragraph 20, and it's applied when IFRS 16 is applied. Recognition of deferred tax assets for unrealized losses issued January 2016, amends paragraph 29, adds paragraph 27A, 29A, and aligns sample after paragraph 26, and it's effective for annual periods beginning on or after January 1st, 2017. And there's annual improvements to IFRS 2015 until 2017 cycle, which issued December 2017, amended the paragraph of 57A and deleted paragraph 52B, effective for annual periods beginning on or after January 1st, 2019. And deferred tax related to assets and liabilities from a single transaction issued May 2021, amended paragraphs 15, 22, 24, and added paragraph 20A to 20AB, 22B, and it's applied to transaction on or after 1st January 2020, and early application permitted with disclosure. And deferred tax, next is about deferred tax related to assets and liabilities from a single transaction. So entities must apply the amendments to transactions occurring on or after the beginning of the earliest comparative period presented. And at the beginning of the earliest comparative period, an entity must recognize a deferred tax asset, and if probable, that taxable profit will be available for utilization. A deferred tax liability for all deductible and taxable temporary differences associated with right of use assets and lease liabilities, decommissioning, restoration, and similar liabilities, and the related asset costs. The amendments introduced by deferred tax is recovery of underlying assets, and SIC 21 dealt with income taxes of recovery of revalued non-depreciable assets. Okay, that's all is the presentation from our group, which is about the PSAK 212, And if there's any misstatement from us, we're very sorry. So thank you for the appreciation and thank you for the attention.